What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Carl, the Consume and Review Lad, and this is the Consume and Review Weekly Wrestling Review Podcast, Episode 2. Last week, I consumed AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage, and I reviewed AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage. This week, I consumed WWE SummerSlam, WWE Monday Night Raw, WWE Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, and AEW Rampage, and I'm going to review WWE SmackDown, WWE SummerSlam, and WWE Monday Night Raw. That was kind of out of order there. Before I get into those reviews, I do want to give you a spoiler warning. If you do not want any spoilers for wrestling whatsoever, I advise you do not listen to this podcast. I may spoil something in WWE. That's either, of course, the shows I'm reviewing I will spoil, but even future shows, maybe next week, next month, next year, I may spoil either a debut, either a match, either some sort of booking decision. I may spoil that because I consume a lot of wrestling media, and I'm going to use that consumption for these reviews. So if you don't want to be spoiled for any debuts, and that's including outside of WWE and AEW, if you do not want any spoilers whatsoever, I advise you to not listen to this podcast. If you don't care, then go ahead and listen to this podcast. We're going to start off with SummerSlam. I actually made a podcast for SummerSlam, but I ended up recording it on the wrong microphone. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to add it to Weekly Wrestling Review number 2 instead. SummerSlam and Allegiant, I can't pronounce it, stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, 51,326 fans in attendance. We're just going to do a quick rundown on the matches. Big E beat Baron Corbin and got his Money in the Bank title briefcase back. I don't know if this match was officially for that title, but he got it back anyways. He beat Baron Corbin and got the title back. SmackDown opened with no pyro. I don't know if this was planned or if there was issues going on that could prevented pyro for whatever reason. No pyro for the intro for SummerSlam. First match, RK Bro versus Styles and Omos. I should say, RK Bro wins and they get the tag team titles. I think a lot of people figured that going in. I know I predicted they would win. I predict they're going to have a tag team title run, and then one of them is going to turn on the other one. They're going to have a feud. That's how every tag team pretty much works in the WWE. I think Matt Riddle's really popular with the crowd. I think he's an attraction right now, and I really think eventually he's going to get the strap. He's going to get the belt. I could see them maybe stretching out this Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle match that I'm sure we're going to get to WrestleMania. But if they want to put the strap on Matt Riddle at WrestleMania, we could get this match at SummerSlam. We could get this match at the Royal Rumble or just a random Raw. It's WWE. You never know where you're going to get the match. But I think soon, maybe within the next 2 years, I could see Matt Riddle in the main event picture. Easily see him in the main event picture. Next match was Alexa Bliss. She beats Eva Marie. The real story of this match was Doudrop is just done with Eva Marie. Completely done with her. Took her robe and high-fived some fans on the way out and just disrespected Eva Marie. She's tired of being pushed over. Damian Priest beats Sheamus for the U.S. title. He got the second strap on Monday Night Raw, so I don't know where they're going to go with this. Maybe they're going to run this feud back. But Damian Priest is someone that I can also see in the main event picture in a few years, probably after Matt Riddle. I don't know if he's as there as Matt Riddle is, but he has a U.S. title, so they're clearly going to build WWE up. They're going to build him up in the WWE for a main event spot. The main story, and I guess let me review these matches real quick. The RK Bro match with AJ Styles and Omos, that was a good match. Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, that was a match. Damian Priest versus Sheamus was actually a decent match. Sheamus did some great crowd work here as a heel. Awesome crowd work. It was I think one crazy scary spot for Damian Priest when he landed outside. Overall, it was an alright match. It wasn't amazing or terrible. Usos beat the Mysterios to retain the SmackDown tag team titles. Hopefully this is the end of this feud. This feud is just, it's gone on so long now, about a month I want to say a month. And hopefully this is it. Hopefully they go somewhere else with this. I think the main story is the Mysterios. I think there's tension between the Mysterios. We'll get to that when we get to the SmackDown section. Banks versus Belair. Rumor has it that Sasha Banks was not clear for this match, and that rumor was true. She was not clear for the match, so Carmella comes out. Fans wanted Becky Lynch. They get Carmella while Becky Lynch comes out. She made her return. The fans went crazy. thought it was going to be a three-way with Becky probably pinning Carmella to get the title. I originally thought Sasha Banks was going to beat Belair and then lose the title to Becky Lynch in, I don't know, a few months, maybe at Survivor Series. That's why I thought they were going towards, but she couldn't wrestle, so they gave it to... Well, first off, I thought there was going to be a three-way. It wasn't a three-way. Becky Lynch beats Carmella up, and then it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Everyone's hyped for this match. The match starts. Bianca Belair goes for a handshake. Becky Lynch punches her in the throat, does the man-hand slam on her, pins her, beats her in 26 seconds. The fans at the stadiums cheer. The fans at home boo and are mad because this is terrible for Bianca Belair. It reminds them of Kofi Kingston's end to his reign against Brock Lesnar. Rumor has it that Becky Lynch is supposed to be a heel, and this 26-second match is supposed to help Bianca get over as a babyface and Becky Lynch get heel heat. No idea if this is going to work. We'll get to this later on at the SmackDown section, but was the game plan. Drew McIntyre beats Jinder Mahal. Charlotte Flair makes Nikki Ash tap out to win the Raw Women's title match. Almost a superhero, I should say, tapped out. The Never Give Up Almost a Superhero tapped out to Charlotte Flair. My prediction is, after I saw Charlotte Flair win, I think it's her 12th title win now. I know they've, rearranged the numbers of how many titles she's won. There's really no one else for her to feud with, and I thought it's probably going to be Alexa Bliss next. Alexa Bliss is over with the fans with her gimmick, and I think she could get the strap, and I could see her getting the strap, and I could see them maybe even making like a Lily belt, like they did the Fiend with that belt. So maybe Charlotte Flair's a carryover to Alexa Bliss, and then maybe it'll go back to Nikki Ash. I just don't like Nikki Ash losing like this. No one likes Charlotte Flair winning like this, beating up Rhea Ripley, beating up Nikki Ash. Charlotte Flair's had the title a lot. She's been the top dog. She's still the top dog. The Nikki Ash superhero thing just didn't really get to, play out. Maybe it'll still play out. The story's not over yet. We'll get to that when we get to the Raw section. Edge beats Rollins in a match. Edge beats Seth Rollins, I should say, in a match that was basically trying to break each other's necks. That was the main story of that match. And Edge got the upper hand and won. He didn't break Seth Rollins' neck. He made him tap out, but he won the match. Lashley beat Goldberg, so MVP hit Goldberg in the back of the leg with his cane, and Lashley kept working that leg, and then the referee stopped the match. So Lashley beats Goldberg via referee stoppage, and at the end of the match, Lashley's attacking Goldberg's leg with the chair. Goldberg's son jumps on Lashley's back. Lashley puts him in the Hurt Lock, then realizes it's Goldberg's son, and MVP's all worried, saying he didn't realize it was his son. He thought it was a random fan, and that's why he was attacking him. I guess if he knew it was his son, he would not have attacked him, is the story. Clearly, they're going to run this one back, probably in Saudi Arabia. So, I don't know what they do until then. We'll get to that in the Raw section. This match, I guess let me go back to the other matches. Drew beat Jinder. That was whatever. That was a whatever match. Mysterios and Usos had a pretty decent match. Clearly, Becky Lynch, Belair wasn't really a match. Flair, Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley, that was a decent match. That was a pretty good match. Edge beats Rollins. That was an amazing match. Phenomenal match there. Lashley beats Goldberg. I would say that's probably a forgettable match. It's a Goldberg match. Reigns beats John Cena. This is a main event. Reigns kicked out of an attitude adjustment through the table, and an attitude adjustment off the top rope. And then after Reigns beats Cena, Brock Lesnar makes his return. The crowd goes wild. They look at each other. Heyman looks worried. After the pay-per-view went off the air, Lesnar attacks Cena, but we saw in a video package later on. That match was actually really good. Overall, SummerSlam was actually good. It was entertaining. I would say I would not be surprised if it's a top 5, maybe top 4 pay-per-view of the year. I don't know where it ranks now. It could be number 1. I haven't really made a list, so I'm not sure where it ranks. But overall, I enjoyed SummerSlam. I had a 3 times as long review of it, but that's a short review I have of SummerSlam. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I'll give you the worst match of the night and the match of the night at the end of this podcast, right before the news section. Next up, we're going to Raw at the Let's see if I can pronounce this. Pichanga Arena in San Diego, California. Approximately 6,900 fans attended that Raw. The ratings for that Monday Night Raw was 2,067,000 overall viewers, which I believe might be the second most this year. It's one of the top Raws and overall viewers. 2,067,000. 826,000 are in the 18 and 49 age range, which is a top demographic that people look at in ratings. It got a 0.64 rating. Supposedly this is the most since the post-WrestleMania Raw, which I guess makes sense since SummerSlam was almost built up to be like a WrestleMania. I think Miz accidentally called it WrestleMania at a Raw. I think maybe last week's Raw, maybe the week before. I'm not too sure. Raw opened up with a SummerSlam video package, and MVP came out with Bobby Lashley, and they cut the typical Raw 20-minute promo to open up a WWE show. The basis of this promo is MVP was saying that none of the fans there will attack Lashley from behind, calling them weak or scared or whatever. It's pretty much the repeat of what he said at SummerSlam. He didn't know it was Goldberg's son, and he didn't mean to hurt his son so much, and the fans won't attack them. But then Priest interrupts and says he'll face Lashley and attack him face to face. And MVP is like, I accept that match. And Lashley runs to the back because he was in a suit, and he's like, I gotta get my wrestling gear on. Hold on, I'm gonna run to the back. Wait up for me. So 8:20, the match actually begins. So 20 minutes of promo and Lashley running to the back. We got a match: Lashley versus Priest. WWE champion versus the United States champion. And 2 whole minutes later, 8:22, Sheamus interferes and hits Priest with a move. Hit attacks him, does something, disqualification. So Priest technically wins. I believe they might have been double teaming him. I'm not sure. In my notes here, I just wrote McIntyre comes out to save Priest. I need to take better notes in the future. But McIntyre comes out to save Priest. I think there was a commercial break. 8:26, I think we open up, and it's just during a tag team match with, of course, McIntyre and Priest versus Sheamus and Lashley, the faces versus the heels. And this match actually went on pretty decently. It went on until 8:41 p.m. Eastern time, where Lashley left Sheamus in the ring by himself, walked away. He was on the ramp looking at him, and McIntyre Claymore Sheamus to get the win. And that is the best booking you could do for that match. I'm not really too sure. That's the only way you could end the match. They're building up McIntyre again. They're building up Damian Priest. They're building up Lashley. Or Lashley can't really lose. He could lose. He wasn't going to lose that match. So I guess we're going to have McIntyre versus Sheamus feud again. I thought we had that earlier in the year. It looks like it's going that way. I'm not really sure where the 4 of these work into each other. Damian Priest has a U.S. title, and Goldberg was not on this Raw at all. So I know they're probably going to build towards Goldberg down the line. Maybe even Elimination Chamber. I really don't think it's going to be an Elimination. Extreme Rules. My bad. I got the pay-per-views wrong. I really don't think that it could be Damian Priest versus Bobby Lashley. It could be Bobby Lashley versus McIntyre again. Hopefully not. It could be someone else. We'll get through the Raw and think about it. But it looks like McIntyre and Sheamus might be a thing. Or maybe Sheamus is going to run it back with Damian Priest. They're all 4 together. It was a 8:41 is when that match was over with. After that, we got the SummerSlam video about Eva losing. There was a Doudrop interview backstage, and Eva attacked Doudrop. So yep, they're fighting. Also, I would like to admit that Lashley leaving Sheamus kind of builds up the theme for this Monday Night Raw of tag teams just fighting with each other and breaking up. You'll see what I mean. Overall, that match was a match. I mean, I really don't do match of the nights or worst match of the nights with Raws or SmackDown because they're usually terrible. They do these quick DQs, non-finishes, just really frustrating stuff, as we'll get into later on in the podcast also. Karrion Kross comes out. He wears a mask. That was a talk of the town this week, his mask. Karrion Kross is just another example of why NXT I could never get into NXT because every time they got called up, they went nowhere. This is another example because I think his NXT character was practically very different than what we're seeing on Monday Night Raw. He came out wearing a mask. I think they're going to try to sell the mask. Hopefully they sell the mask before he ditches the mask. Hopefully it's not another Mustafa Ali thing where he wore a mask and then he ditched it because he joined Retribution, I believe, and then they try to sell the mask, I should say. Anyways, he's going to face Ricochet. Ricochet got a reverse jobber entrance. If you don't know what a reverse jobber entrance is, a jobber entrance is when you enter the ring and it's not on TV, or you don't even get an entrance at all. You just walk to the ring. But typically, if you have an entrance in front of the fans, it's not on TV, so it's a jobber entrance. You get the reverse, which means Karrion Kross came into the ring with an entrance. Then we went to commercial break, and we came back, and Ricochet was standing in the ring. Reverse jobber entrance. Ricochet versus Karrion Kross. 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time is when this match began. 8:51 p.m. Eastern Time is when this match ended. Maybe it was an extra minute in there, but that's what I got off my time. Ricochet tapped out. Karrion Kross won pretty quick, made Ricochet tap out. Man, what a disappointment for Ricochet. This guy could be a big deal. I really think he could win the fans over, win the kids. Fans are going to say, oh, Ricochet just doesn't have it. He doesn't get a chance to have it. He fucking just lost in 1 minute. Fucking 1 minute to Karrion Kross, got choked down. I don't know. Maybe Ricochet, it's just not working out in the WWE too. It's just not good. We'll see what happens going forward. But this was a disappointment. So yeah, I didn't like this match because, I mean, first off, it was barely a match. And second off, you just saw Ricochet just get completely destroyed like that. We had a weird SummerSlam segment with Corbin, Big E, and Logan Paul. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna even go into it. But after that, we saw the Viking Raiders giving Logan Paul a t-shirt. Yep, the Viking Raiders giving Logan Paul a t-shirt. Logan Paul is on Monday Night Raw. Sheamus confronted Lashley about leaving him. Very upset. A lot of tension there. Kind of arguing. Anyways, it's a 9 p.m. hour now. The 9 p.m. we get Moist TV with Logan Paul as a guest. Logan Paul got booed so hard. Such heat. So much nuclear heat for Logan Paul. And you can tell that was not what they wanted at all. And they want him to be a face because the whole segment was built for him being a face. He was really just advertising his brother's boxing match in Cleveland. And Miz and Morrison were pretty much just trying to like roast his brother, start tension. Anyways, ended with Logan Paul leaving, and there was mostly tension with Miz and Morrison. They're arguing. They're still having their fight over Miz lying about being wheelchair bound. Elias video segment, same video segment I think we saw last week. So they're doing this weird thing where they repeat a video segment in the first part of the show, then the second part they give you a new Elias segment. All the segments are the same thing. He's done with the Walk with Elias gimmick. He's doing a new gimmick. 9:13, we got Woods versus The Miz. 9:25, it ends with the Woods rolling up The Miz to win. It's a roll-up pin. This match had tension between Miz and Morrison. They just couldn't get on the same page. When Morrison tried to help, it ended up going the opposite and affecting Miz. So after the match, there's just more tension, but they're like, let's get a little squirt gun and just squirt the Fiends in the ring. And during a little squirt off, Miz attacked Morrison. And there goes that tag team. So it's another tag team tension. I don't know why they just, could be patient with this. Give it a few more weeks for these guys to go off on each other. I feel like 2 weeks ago they had tension. Now they're broken up. Clearly Miz is they're going to be the heel, the bad guy. Morrison's probably going to be a babyface. Maybe they're building Morrison as a babyface to face Lashley at Extreme Rules, or maybe Lashley at a different event. I don't know. It's just, they could have done more with them. It's just kind of disappointing they broke them up. The way they broke them up, they just kind of build it up a little bit more. Make it a big deal. Make it like Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens breakup. That was a great breakup. It was just a quick little thing. SummerSlam Raw Women's Match segment. They showed that Raw Women's Match. Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley are backstage. I believe Nikki Ash was asking Rhea to be her tag partner. And Rhea was like, okay. We had a Reggie 24/7 title segment. This time involved an ice cream truck. He jumped off an ice cream truck. These 24/7 segments are kind of fun every week. They're definitely building Reggie up to be someone. A gymnastic, I believe he's a gymnastic person. I'm not sure. I think he worked for a circus, and they're definitely fine-tuning him to be a wrestler. He does a lot of interesting moves, and they're building him up. and they're using these video segments with the 24/7 title to do so. A RK Bro video segment. RK Bro is backstage, and it's like every other backstage segment with them. Matt Riddle's really into the friendship, and Randy Orton's just, chill with it. 9:45, we have a Mansoor versus Jinder Mahal match that ended at 9:48. Mahal put Masoon in the corner, was just attacking him nonstop. The ref did the count to get him out of the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and DQ'd Mahal. So Mansoor won the match, but Mansoor's little buddy, Mustafa Ali, was disgusted with him of how he won. Is this how you want to win, by disqualification? It's another little tag team that's having tension this Monday night episode of Raw. Really sure where they're going with Jinder Mahal, Mahal, Mansoor, and Mustafa Ali. I have a feeling it's towards Saudi Arabia, though. I feel like that's why Mansoor is probably getting a lot of TV time now. They're probably going to build something big for the Saudi Arabia show. I think he's big. I think he's the guy that is a big superstar from Saudi Arabia. So maybe he's going to have a match with Mustafa Ali, and this is to build to it. If so, that's almost a better build than the Miz and Morrison match. Either way, it was a 3-minute match. Don't know where Jinder Mahal goes from here. He has 2 guys with him. Maybe they're just going to keep feuding with each other for a while. Where's Retribution all this? Retribution was feuding with these guys. What happened to Retribution? I don't know. I don't think they were on this Raw. We got the Raw, typical Raw recap earlier, and then you have a McIntyre and Priest talking backstage, and McIntyre's going to buy Priest some drinks. They're being all buddy. Charlotte Flair promo at start of the 10 o'clock hour, and during that promo, Alexa Bliss comes out. So, like I figured, they're going to do a Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss feud, and I think that's fine. I know a lot of fans don't like it. I think that's completely fine. I think Alexa Bliss is over. Give her the strap. She's over. Give her the strap. See what they can do. Sell some merchandise. I mean, how much more does Charlotte Flair need to prove, really? And who else is she going to feud with? Unless she's going to feud with Rhea Ripley again, and that's a long feud. Maybe Nikki Ash again, but maybe give it to Alexa Bliss, and I guess Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley are going to be tag team partners going forward. We had a weird video segment, not a weird video, but it's off with all these other video segments of the last week women's tag match but with Shayna and Nia Jax. They had some backstage segment. They're having tension too. Like I said, all the tag teams are having tensions this Monday Night Raw. You had the new Elias video segment. Up here, 10-12, the Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna and Nia Jax match began. It went until 10:22. Main story of that match was tension between Shayna and Nia Jax. Ripley does a riptide on Shayna to get the win. So clearly they're about to maybe break up and feud with each other. Tension there. You have another Raw recap of Miz betraying Morrison. Morrison's talking to himself backstage. Says next week he's going to get in the ring with The Miz. 10:30, you have an RK Bro celebration, which had a really cool pyro show. I'm guessing they used all the pyro they didn't shoot off at SummerSlam for this Monday Night Raw. He gifted Randy Orton a scooter. Of course, Styles and Omos interrupts, and then we get a commercial break and a video package with Sheamus and Lashley, backstage altercation. There's going to be a match next week. Sheamus versus Lashley, heel versus heel. Segment of Eva attacking Doudrop. Match next week. Eva versus Doudrop. I think Lashley's going to win. I think Doudrop's going to win. And I think Morrison is going to beat The Miz next week on Monday Night Raw. 10:45, you get Styles versus Riddle, the main event match. The big part in this match is Omos went to distract Riddle when he was on the top rope. Randy Orton said, nope, not today. He went to go attack Omos. Omos said, nope, not today. And he threw him straight into the barricade. Randy came back and attacked him with the scooter Riddle got him. And in the end, Riddle's hits a Broderick on Styles to get the win. Raw ends with Orton RKOing Styles. They were celebrating and Styles came back in and Randy's like, hold my belt, and RKO'd Styles. That was Monday Night Raw. Was it great? It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. There's still like a lot to be desired. It was booking wise. I guess I know where they're going. I think it's kind of interesting Miz and Morrison having a match so quick, but this is WWE where you just have constant matches with each other, so they're still probably going to have some sort of a match at Extreme Rules. Overall, it wasn't the best show. It wasn't the worst. It was a Raw. Really all I could say. Let's go to SmackDown. SmackDown, Simmons Bank Arena, North Little Rock, Arkansas. Approximately 6,100 fans were at that SmackDown. I don't have the ratings for this SmackDown, but the ratings for last week's SmackDown, the go-home show to SummerSlam, had 2.1 million overall viewers, 738,000 in 1849 for a 0.57. I think this SmackDown is the most watched wrestling show week after week after week. And what did this SmackDown bring us? The SmackDown, the Backlash SmackDown for SummerSlam. Well, Pat McAfee's out. He has COVID, so he's out for COVID. So the commentators instead are Michael Cole, I should say, Corey Graves, and Kevin Owens. It opens with, you guessed it, a promo, but this time with Becky Lynch. I actually opened with a video segment of Becky Lynch coming back winning. She comes out to cut a promo. Of course, the fans are still they like Becky Lynch. They don't want to boo Becky Lynch. They like Becky Lynch. But she mentioned SummerSlam, and they booed. They booed that. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to apologize. And then they were like, it was awkward. It was awkward. They weren't booing. They weren't cheering. They're just like, oh, okay. And then she's like, I'm going to apologize for nothing. And then they all started cheering again. It was like almost like a heelish promo, but they like it. They don't want to boo Becky Lynch. They like it. Of course, Bianca comes out to confront Becky, and she wants to challenge Becky for a title match tonight. And then Zelina comes out, and Zelina actually got a "you suck" chance from the fans, but she also wants a match. Carmella comes out. You guessed it, she wants a match too. Liv Morgan comes out. First time we've seen Liv Morgan since Money in the Bank. And she gets a nice crowd reaction. The fans like Liv Morgan. And rumor has it, I heard Liv Morgan said in an interview that when Becky Lynch got pregnant and left, she whispered in Liv Morgan's ear that when she comes back, Liv Morgan will be a champion. So we'll see where that goes. One fan was so enthused with Liv Morgan, he screamed, "I love you" to her over and over again. And Liv Morgan challenged Becky to a match also. And then Carmella had this funny remark. She called out Liv for being in catering for 2 months. And then Bianca challenged Becky Lynch again for a match. And Becky Lynch said nope and walked out. So Bianca attacked Zelina and everyone started to fight, and it ended with Liv in the ring alone. 8:18. We come back from commercial for a women's fatal 4-way elimination match. Winner faces Becky Lynch for the title. Bianca eliminated Zelina. Liv eliminated Carmella. We go to another commercial break. We get a new NXT logo. It was an ad with a new colors and logo for NXT. This match is getting "This Is Awesome" chants when we come back. 8:29, Bianca KODs, lives, and wins the match. We spent 30 minutes of an SmackDown episode getting to where we're probably going to go all along. Bianca versus Becky Lynch. Match everyone wants to see. Probably at Extreme Rules. But at least they got 30 minutes of a wrestling match booked. It was an alright match. It was a pretty good match. It might have been the best match on SmackDown now that I think about it, but I don't do worst match tonights or match tonights on SmackDown. I think Liv and Carmella will probably have a feud. They should have a feud. I don't know where Zelina fits in all this. She can find her way somewhere. Bianca, Becky's a feud. Liv and Carmella's a feud. Zelina can just keep interrupting people. That could be her shtick. Who knows? It's a good little shtick to have. Just interrupt people all the time and want a match. We go backstage to Heyman being interviewed, asked about Brock returning. Where does he stand? He's like, I'm always with Roman Reigns, and tonight we're having a family celebration. But Paul Heyman's actually locked out of the Roman Reigns locker room. And we get the SummerSlam video package of Reigns versus Cena. We come back, Heyman's still locked out of the room. Kind of a little awkward there. And the Usos open the door, and the Usos, they confront Heyman. They're like, you knew Brock was at SummerSlam. He was like, I did not. And they're like, well, you sent us to the locker room. He was like, well, I did not. Reigns sent you to the locker room. So there's a little tension there. A little tension between the Usos and Paul Heyman. We'll see where this goes. By the way, they're wearing brand new t-shirts that are really cool, really nice looking t-shirts. Not as nice as the John Cena t-shirt he wore at SummerSlam, but still a nice t-shirt. And Paul Heyman's on that t-shirt. So, you know, hopefully they don't knock Paul Heyman out of the group with him on a brand new, cool looking t-shirt. I'm just going to say that. 8:47 p.m. We get Cesaro versus Gable. This match on paper, woo-wee. This is a great match. Woo-wee, wow. Awesome match. It ended at 8:49. Cesaro started his swing, and Otis said nope and hit Cesaro. And Cesaro won by disqualification. And then Otis and Gable double teamed Cesaro. Wow. Imagine this match outside of the WWE. That would have been a great match. Or even in the WWE. Imagine if they gave them the same amount of time they gave the Bianca Belair Fatal 4-Way elimination victory. But, oh well. At least Gable and Otis are kind of cool characters. And Cesaro's still over. Everyone's protected. I can't hate that from a booking standpoint. But I can hate this match only being 2 minutes. Kayla Braxton's outside. She's like, I'm waiting for Roman Reigns outside. But Baron Corbin comes out. He has some nice clothes. He's clean shaven, driving a Bentley. He says he's Happy Corbin now. Happy Corbin. We come back from commercial and Happy Corbin, he has a new video, Titantron, a new song. He comes to the ring. He's celebrating. He made his money back. They showed a video package of him turning $35 after SummerSlam into millions from gambling in Las Vegas. But he needs one more thing. He needs Big E to come out. Big E comes out. It's the 10 o'clock hour now. Corbin wants to buy that Money in the Bank briefcase. $20,000. Nope. $50,000. Nope. Well, Baron Corbin says, well, people can cash in and lose. Big E's like, yeah, happened to you. Corbin's like, okay, $100,000. Nope. Big E did offer to sell him a half-eaten sandwich, a pencil found outside, and an Arkansas raisin back plushie. Wow, the crowd went super hot for that remark. Started some college chant, I assume. Was really into it. But Big E, I think, threatened Corbin, and Corbin just left. Video package of Edge versus Rollins. Earlier today, Edge video promo. Edge is moving on from Rollins to go for the Universal Championship once again. Rollins had a rebuttal backstage video promo where he congratulated Edge. Lost taught him a lot about himself. He won his respect. He admires him. If Rollins wants to find his way to the Universal title, he needs to be more like Edge, and he congratulates him. And he has this creepy, really creepy look. So let's just rewind this back. Where's all this going? So Corbin's new gimmick, Bro Corbin, was over. This couldn't be over. This could be over too. Corbin's getting these gimmicks, and he could be over. I like the gimmick. I don't know if he's going to feud with Big E. I don't know where Big E's going with this, but I like Corbin's gimmick. Edge and Rollins. I don't know where Edge and Rollins goes. My guess, if I had to guess, is Rollins is going to attack Edge in some way, some dark, sinister way. And we're going to see this run back, because I don't think Edge is actually going to get the Universal title shot anytime soon. And based off Rollins' promo, I assume that's where the direction's going. We see Boogs. Boogs is playing the guitar. We get the Nakamura entrance. WWE got 25 million followers on Instagram. We see Reigns backstage now. He sees Paul Heyman. They stare at each other. Reigns wants to know what Heyman is doing. Is Reigns opening his own doors now? So Heyman opens his door. Reigns like, you gonna come in? Heyman goes in. We have Nakamura versus Boogs versus Rhodes and Ziggler, Dirty Dogs. During the match, there was a Crow's video promo, picture-in-picture on Nakamura about the Intercontinental title, upset that he doesn't have it and Nakamura has it. This match was really to put Boogs over. It started at 9:17 and ended at 9:26, so a decent match. Imagine if you had this match for Gable versus Cesaro. But Boogs does some move on Ziggler. I don't know what the name of the move is. He pins him and he beats Ziggler. Whatever, yeah, it does its job. They're going to get Boogs over. Maybe Boogs Nakamura. Maybe they'll get a title shot. Who knows? We see Sonya. She's backstage with Naomi, a new woman on the SmackDown roster. I did not know she was on the Raw roster. I don't think I've seen her in a while. But now she's on the SmackDown roster. So the SmackDown gets more inflated and Raw gets more deflated. SmackDown's a 2-hour show and Raw's a 3-hour show. New woman on the SmackDown roster. She wants to know when's her first match. And Sonya's like, I didn't know you were coming to SmackDown. It doesn't know where she measures up, and it looks like there's going to be a feud between Sana and the other guy. That's the only thing I can assume based off this promo. Maybe Naomi can fight Zelina. Zelina doesn't have a little rival right now, so that could be a match, a little feud going on. Mysterios are talking in the gorilla position, and it's basically Ray saying he needs to let Dominique fly on his own. He'll always have his back, but you need to go do you. So they do his intro, and then Ray comes out behind him, but stands on the stage and lets Dominique interact with fans. Then he walks backstage, and he got Dominique a match with a surprise unknown opponent. We come back from commercial, and Sami Zayn is that surprise opponent. I haven't seen him in a few weeks. I think he might have. He's not in really any important feud. It wasn't on SummerSlam. There's a lot of superstars that was not on SummerSlam. Match started at 9:36. One big thing in this match is Dom crashed outside by a failed 619. He went to go do a 619. Sami Zayn opened up the ropes a little bit more. He just slid out, just smacked his head on the floor. It actually looked pretty bad. I don't know if it was real or not. It's one of those things where you question, is it real or not? Ray came out. He looked really disturbed. We went to commercial. When we came back from commercial, Sammy was just working on Sammy was working on Dominique in the ring, and Ray was outside the ring, and they were arguing. And at 9:44, Sammy landed a Helua kick, and he pins Dominic, and he wins. Ray goes to confront Dom, and Dom just brushes him off and walks away. So there's a rumor, has it, that Ray and Dom are going to have a feud, which you figure they would when Ray retires, and that might be Ray's last match, but I guess maybe they're pushing it sooner, and Ray doesn't like it, and he's fighting it. But they are building up to have a feud with one another. Ray's Usos and Heyman are now in gorilla position, and Usos saying, let's go do some work. And Heyman hands Reigns his belt, and Reigns is like, what are you doing? You're supposed to hold my belt. Heyman's like, well, it's a family celebration. And Reigns is like, well, you are family. So Heyman follows Reigns out with the belt, and you get the Reigns entrance with the Usos and the Heymans. Reigns grabs the mic, and then I think he hands it to Heyman to talk to the fans. And, Heyman's just doing crowd work with the fans. Talks about how they beat Cena. Finn Balor comes out, interrupts. And he was going to challenge Reigns at Extreme Rules, but he doesn't trust the wrestlers by taking a spot. He's not waiting in line. So next week on SmackDown, he wants to challenge Reigns. And he throws the mic at Reigns and attacks him. And so the Usos jump Finn. And then come out the Street Profits. There we go. Came out to save Finn. The Street Profits take out Usos, and Reigns just walks to the back, and it ends with Finn in the ring with the music playing. Will he get the title shot next week or not? Tune in to find out. So, a lot to unpack and unravel there. Clearly, we have Heyman and Reigns, a little feud with Lesnar. Reigns versus Lesnar is probably going to be at Saudi Arabia. So who does he face at Extreme Rules? Well, he has a lot of people in line. He has Edge. He has Finn Balor. Who knows? I could see them pushing Finn Balor and Roman Reigns to Extreme Rules. So probably not next week. It's a hill move to deny it. So I could see them pushing that. Street Profits versus Usos for the tag titles. I think Usos are retaining. Of course, Reigns is retaining. I feel like the Saudi show, I don't know. Maybe it's not Saudi, but I feel like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns will be a Saudi show. Could be SummerSlam. Could be Royal Rumble. There's clearly tension between Heyman and Reigns concerning Brock Lesnar. You kind of get the idea that they're going to cut Heyman out eventually, but they should just keep it going for a little bit. But SmackDown was a decent SmackDown. For what SmackDown is, it was good. It was enjoyable. It was better than Raw. SmackDown's been better than Raw for a while now. I enjoyed the SmackDown. I enjoyed the storylines playing out, the feuds. We'll see what happens next week on Friday Night SmackDown. Now we're going to go to AEW, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, at the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Approximately 4,900 fans were there. It got 1,172,000 viewers, the most since, I think, April 14th, which had the Young Bucks versus Pac and Ray Phoenix for the tag team titles in a Fall Count Anywhere match for Matt Hardy and Darby Allin. So that April 14th show was a good show. And you knew it was going to get a good show because CM Punk returned, so it got a lot of publicity. I think ESPN said that their tweet got like more interactions than like anything else since May, and that includes like the NBA Finals and the McGregor fight. It was kind of a let down Dynamite, though. I'll start off with that. But supposedly COVID interrupted a match, and this is the Dynamite they put together. Very, very disappointing in this Dynamite because so many people are going to be eyeballing it since CM Punk returned, and this is what they see. Overall, it's still a decent show, but it wasn't their best. Probably bottom 5. I would not be surprised if it was bottom 5 for the week, or not for the week, for the year in terms of Dynamite. 620,000 people in the 18 to 49 age demographic watched it, which is a 0.48 rating, which is apparently the second highest ever behind the AEW debut episode in 2019 that had a 0.68 rating. So the second highest in 620,000 viewers in the 1849 demographic. The show opened with a CM Punk promo, and then it went straight to a Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy match that started at 8:02 p.m. I don't like this match opening. I'll be honest with you. You have so many new viewers coming to see this. Maybe they've lapsed from CM Punk, and it started with a 1-minute comedy bit where Orange Cassidy does his kicks and Matt Hardy does his delete. If you wanted to show off a hot crowd, that's great. But a lot of people are very divided with Orange Cassidy's wrestling. I like Orange Cassidy's wrestling, but even Chris Jericho himself said he did not understand Orange Cassidy, but then he understood how over he was, and then he helped put Orange Cassidy over also. So, I don't know. I feel like you should have opened up, if you're going to keep this card the same, really, you should have made this card, they should have made this card a lot better, but this is what you had to work with, and you had to keep it the same. Open up with Lucha Bros versus Varsity Blondes. I know they're more relatively unknown, and Matt Hardy's known, and Orange Cassidy's a big character, but that match, as far as like a work rate match goes, that match was awesome. This was alright, because it started off with the comedy bit, and then Matt Hardy mostly dominated Orange Cassidy. At one point, Orange Cassidy busted open Matt Hardy, clearly on accident, and got blood all over his pants and stuff, so maybe viewers were like that, but just the 1 minute where it was just comedy bit, I could just see people clicking off, being like, nope, I ain't watching this, nope. I felt like you could have kept that on the Dynamite, just put it somewhere else. Open up with an actual non-comedy match and then go to that. Show people that, yeah, we are real wrestling. This is the wrestling you're going to see typically. And then the next match be like, and this is this is a wrestling match that you'll sometimes see too. And look how fun it could be. That match ended at 8. Just notice the time difference between Raw and SmackDown and the AEW Dynamite and Rampage when it comes to matches. This match ended at 8:14, a 12-minute match. And OC won with a rollover pin with his hands in his pocket. So Orange Cassidy beat Matt Hardy, which I figured. I am actually interested to see if Orange Cassidy would wear the same pants he wore in this match. One time when he was feuding with Chris Jericho, someone messed up and Chris Jericho got busted open all over Orange Cassidy's shirt. He ended up wearing that shirt for like another week or so too. So I wonder if he'll wear those messed up pants for another week. He got blood all over his jeans. I don't know. But it was for a match, it was an all right match. It wasn't a bad match. After that 1 minute segment, it was good. I'm just thinking, from a booking perspective with new fans, I don't think you open up with that comedy bit. I think you open up with actual wrestling. We have a Black video package promo hyping up the main event. Malachi Black versus Brock Anderson. Jericho's coming to the ring to announce his future plans. His future plans is he challenges MJF at All Out, and if he loses, he'll never wrestle in AEW again. He'll still wrestle, but not in AEW ever again. MJF came out and he accepts the challenge. 8:32, Lucha Bros versus Varsity Blondes. And the Young Bucks, of course, they came out to watch all the matches in this tournament. That match went till 8:40. The Lucha Bros won. Ray pinned Brian Pillman Jr. That was a phenomenal match. Very much enjoyable. The highlight of the show, really. Jurassic Express entered the ring to confront the Lucha Bros. Young Bucks came to the ring and pushed Jurassic Express into the Lucha Bros, but they didn't fight. They collabed to fight back, and they kicked them off the apron and suicide dived outside the Young Bucks. So they didn't fight each other, Lucha Bros with Jurassic Express. They fought the Young Bucks. So clearly they're both faces. They're not heels. The Young Bucks are heels. They're two baby faces. Video package promo of Chavo Guerrero and Andrade talking about the match with Pac. You have an all-out match card segment. At 8:45, you have Jamie Hayter versus Red Velvet, which went on until 8:52. Hayter won via a clothesline. This was kind of an awkward match. At one point, they went to commercial break, but didn't go to commercial break, so it was just silence. But that was when Hayter threw Red Velvet into like the post, and it looked like it hit her really hard. I don't know if it actually did or she was selling good. Red Velvet at this match had a standing moonsault, like completely missed Hayter, so it's kind of a botch. But Hayter won the match, which I think a lot of people figured going in. Red Velvet lost to Britt Baker, so of course she's going to lose again. After the match, Britt Baker and Hayter kind of jumped Red Velvet. Chris Statlander came out to save the day. She went to do a move on Britt Baker, but Britt Baker escaped. It's kind of I thought it was kind of an awkward segment, really, but it ended with Chris Statlander picking up the belt and holding it. So clearly we have Statlander versus Baker. So for what this match achieved, which was just to help build up Statlander and Baker for All Out, and then just kind of showcase Hayter. It was all right. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't an amazing match either. Dark Order backstage. They're arguing. Evil Uno was arguing with Alex Reynolds. So there's tension for the Dark Orders. Reynolds is telling Uno, even though his name has one in it, he's not the leader of the Dark Order. Uno has been posting on Twitter that he's the leader, kind of, but there's never going to be another leader. But he's kind of the leader, so stop suggesting leaders. Clearly tension with the Dark Order there. That's been building for a few weeks, I believe. I don't know how much we've seen on Dynamite, but we have seen it build up. I assume it built up on Dark or Dark Elevation. I don't watch Dark or Dark Elevation, but some storylines I believe do build up there. Around 10 o'clock, the Don't Change the Channel slot. By the way, the piss break slot went to the Hayter and Red Velvet match. So they got it was a third match this time. They got the piss break slot of the picture-in-picture commercial break breaking off. That's where that went. And the Don't Change the Channel match went straight towards Punk. CM Punk. Getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone. The crowd is still hot for CM Punk. They asked him, what was one thing that made him return? And someone screamed, Darby Allin. And CM Punk said, what that guy said. Penta Zero Mero. I was like, what? And then he started listing all these other AEW talents he wants to wrestle, and then he cut a promo about Darby Allin, saying he wants to wrestle him just to see if he's still, if he's still best in the world. The crowd chants yes, and Punk says that's someone else's shtick. You have to be patient, alluding to Daniel Bryan. The crowd cheered for that also. He just says he wants to wrestle Darby Allin just to see if he still has it. That was a basic gist of that promo. We got a video package of Miro calling out Eddie Kingston again. He hints at his wife in these video packages, so maybe his wife is going to sign in for AEW. 10-16, Moxley, Kingston, and Darby Allin versus the Wingmen, Ryan Namath, JD Drake, and Cesar Bononi. They got jobber entrances. It ended at 10:23. Darby Allin did a coffee drop on JD Drake to get the win. Moxley, Kingston, and Sting were fighting the other Wingmen outside. Daniel Garcia comes out to attack Allin and then leaves the ring before Sting and the others can come in and get him. Very weird that they have Darby Allin and CM Punk match and they're still building in this alternate feud with Daniel Garcia and Darby Allin. I know now that they're going to fight next week at Rampage to go home show it all out. I just thought it was weird. A weird match to be put in there for a CM Punk Dynamite that the CM Punk viewers and new viewers are going to watch. And they're already having Darby Allin not really interacting with CM Punk, but Daniel Garcia. I just thought that was weird, but it's gonna pay off at a max at next week's AEW Rampage. We have a promo for the All Out Buy-In Women's Casino Battle Royal. Goes backstage interview of Tay Conti. Bunny interrupts and asks her why she is still with the Dark Order. Gives her a contract to join the Hardy Family HFO. I don't know what the Hardy Family Operation HFO. I should probably look that up and put that in my notes next week. She rips up the contract. Bunny slaps her. Conti retaliates. They get into a little shuffle. A bunch of reps and other people break it up. FTR video promo says Cash's hand may have nerve damage. It's not firing right since they got cut in that Proud and Powerful match. But he's clear to fight Proud and Powerful or Santana and Ortiz. He wants to fight them and ends with Top Guys out. Earlier this week, they had a social media post with the same thing saying Top Guys out, so some people were speculating they might be leaving AEW. They're also speculating that maybe Cash is done fighting since it messed up his hand. We'll have to see what happens with FTR. It's kind of a crazy freak accident, especially if it's giving him nerve damage. But they're fighting next week. We'll get to that in a bit. Coney Omega interview with Tony. Don Callis takes over the interview. Christian Cage comes out. It's talking about how Don passed over a 20-year-old Christian for 10-year-old Kenny Omega. Don compares himself to bookers who have put family over talent, something like that. And he names dropped Vince McMahon. That was kind of interesting. Kenny talks to Christian and says, "You think you know me," kind of alluding to Edge, because that's his theme song. Don says that All Out Christian will look second best, and Christian attacks Don. The Elite are in the ring, so Michael Nakasaya. Oh man, I just butchered that last name. Michael Nakasaya. Kenny Omega's intern, I think is not intern. What's it? Assistant, I think is a technical term. And Brandon Cutler, and Omega attack Christian. The Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian, comes out with a pipe. The Elite runs out. Moxley's backstage promo says he got a FedEx from Japan. Only one person wants to fight him at All Out. Kojima Satoshi, I believe. I might have butchered that name too. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. 10:38, Gun Club versus the Factory match begins. The Factory got a jobber entrance. I'm surprised because QT Marshall's there and they're kind of using this to build up his match with Paul Wright, but he got a jobber entrance. The fans do not like seeing QT Marshall on TV. I think they recognize that. Maybe they're playing into that. But Paul Wright, he came out on commentary and QT was trash talking him. He pointed at him and Paul was like, "Don't point at me." He took his headphones off. He got mad and QT was like, "Calm down, man. I'm just pointing." During this interaction, one Gun Club member rolled up QT to get the win. One Gun Club member, I don't have his name, I should put it in my notes, is undefeated. So, yeah, I guess it makes sense that they got the win. But I think it's all in tag matches, but Gun Club beat the Factory. No one cares for QT Marshall or Paul Wright back. I guess their match is going to be like the piss break match, is what a lot of people are alluding to. It could be a great match. I think Paul can put on a great match. I think QT can put on a great match. So, this could surprise some people, but man, they do not like QT. The fans, they don't like him. He's also a bad guy, but it's the bad heat, not the good heat, but the bad heat. That match, I think should not have been on the show. But again, one match got canceled, so they had to rearrange the show. So I'm not going to dig into how badly booked this show. It's not that it's badly booked, but how it could have been a better show. I'm not going to dig into that because they're working with what they got. Dan Lambert has a video promo burying AEW fans. Oh man, he buries Sammy Guevara. He buries Darby Allin. He buries Orange Cassidy. He calls AEW fans soy boys who cry when their favorite wrestler shows up to work. He puts over Scorpio Sky. He puts over Ethan Page. For most, I think Ethan Page has 2 black belts, I believe he said. And Scorpio Sky used to fight MMA, so he's putting them over. So they're putting Dan Lambert with Man of the Year, and that can really put over those 2 guys who are good wrestlers, in my opinion. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are good wrestlers. Put them up with Dan Lambert as a mouthpiece, and this could go places. We'll see where this goes, but this could definitely go places. Next week's Dynamite card, we have Cage versus Hobbs. I think Cage is going to win. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. I think Orange Cassidy's going to win. I don't know why he's wrestling Jack Evans. He beat the owner. He beat the boss. He beat Matt Hardy. Why is he still feud? Why is this feud still going on? We'll see. Maybe it has a payoff. FTR versus Santana and Ortiz 2. We're going to see them fight. We're going to see what's going to actually happen. I think Santana and Ortiz are going to win this one. This can be 1-1, and this could help them ahead if they are going to grab the titles from the Young Bucks. I don't know if they will, but it could help them ahead. There's an interview of Jericho. It's going to be next week also, and Tony Giovanni is going to have a sit-down interview with MJF. I think JR is having the interview with Jericho. So just an interview of Jericho and MJF before the All Out pay-per-view. This is the Go Home Dynamite show, which I guess doesn't really matter since everyone still wrestles on Rampage before All Out. So you have a Rampage card promo for Rampage. That was Friday, which is Tay Conte versus Bunny, Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros, and Omega and Cutler versus Cage, Christian Cage, I should say, and Frankie Kazarian. Shows the All Out cards for AEW All Out. Backstage, Arn Anderson's interview. Brock has had 6 matches, and Malaka Black has had 19 years of wrestling. And this is the main event for the Dynamite from CM Punk's return is Malaka Black versus Brock Anderson. And this is actually Brock Anderson's first ever singles match. And it started at 10:54 p.m. And at 10:57, Black won. Malachi Black beat Brock Anderson with I don't know if this is what it's called in AEW. I think it was what it was called in WWE, a Black Mass. JR said roundhouse kick. But he did a Black Mass, and he stood for like half a minute, maybe a minute, and then he pinned him for a 1-2-3. After the match, Arn came out. Or actually, after the match, Arn came into the ring, and Malachi Black left the ring. He grabbed a chair, he came back in, he goes to Black Mass Arn, but Arn blocks it somehow. It like hit his arm instead of his face. And then so Malachi Black said, "What?" And he kicked Arn in the nuts. And then he Black Masked Arn. knocked him down. He kind of walked around the ring for a bit. Then someone's music started playing. And then JR was just going home. He was like, all right, check out Rampage. And then Excalibur was like, is that someone's music? It was playing for like 40 seconds. And then JR did that. I almost like, is this Black's music? And then Excalibur was like, that's someone's music. Who is that? And Lee Johnson comes in. And then Black leaves the ring. And Lee Johnson came in. And the fans were like, okay. They don't care. This is your main event? This could have stayed on the card, just not the main event. It's just, people online have said that AEW has a Codyverse, and this looks like a Codyverse here. I don't know why Black is still feuding with everyone. I'm sure Cody's going to return and maybe get his win back over Black. But this is just a weird ending, weird segment. Why would he block the Black Mass? What's the point in that? We could have skipped the nut shot and everything and just had him take the Black Mass. Lee Johnson is clearly not as over as we think he is, based off the interaction. Maybe it was a botch somewhere. It was awkward how he came out. Awkward ending. We'll see where this goes. Lee Johnson versus Malachi Black is going to happen somewhere. Maybe Rampage. Maybe not. Maybe a few weeks. Who knows? AEW Rampage was same location in attendance as Dynamite. It was the first ever taped Rampage, so I'm not going to really get into the numbers again. I don't have this week's rating because it's a Friday night. Last week it did 1,129,000 viewers, 697,000 and 18 and 49. I will be honest, I might have got the ratings mixed up somewhere between Dynamite and Rampage based off CM Punk. I think the 18 and 49 for CM Punk, it was a 0.53. I think that might have been the second most since the Dynamite debut. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll correct that next week's episode because I'm not going to go through it right now. I got my notes mixed up. This is the second podcast in the weekly wrestling review. We're going with it. We're learning and we're making mistakes and we're going to learn from those mistakes. But I know last week's Rampage got a huge rating and it might have been that Dynamite. I think it was this Rampage here, the 697,000 viewers in the 1849. I think that was the second one. I'll try to clarify that next week. Might have put that in the wrong spot in my notes here. But let's get into Rampage. We have Xavier, Taz, Mark Henry, and Jericho as announcer. 4-man booth. Lucha Brothers got the jobber entrance. Jurassic Express got their entrance on TV. Young Bucks come out to watch. Match starts at 10:03. For the winner faces the Young Bucks at All Out in a cage match. And then it goes to commercial. They have a 90-second commercial break. And the first commercial is literally a Subway commercial talking about picture-in-picture commercials. Like, this is picture-in-picture. And it was a picture-in-picture. So it was like a weird, sick kind of joke for fans who are used to picture-in-picture for great matches. They get a non-picture-in-picture commercial that talks about picture-in-picture commercials. There's a really cool spot here for Hurricane Rana off the top rope outside of the ring. There's some Fight Forever chants here, some Canadian Destroyer spots, some really cool spots. This was a great match. It ended at 10:15. The Lucha Bros do their finishing move on Luchasaurus. Young Bucks came in to attack the Lucha Bros, and Jurassic Express chased the Young Bucks out of the ring. So Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks, cage match, all that. That's going to be a barn-burning match. Woo, that is going to be a great match. Video package of CM Punk returning. CM Punk talking about Darby Allin. All out advertisement. Miro comes out kicking Fuego del Sol down the ramp. He throws him in the ring. Tony Schiavone's in the ring, but he throws the mic down and runs out of the ring. So Miro grabs the mic. He tears off Fuego's mask. Kicks him in the face. Fuego, of course, covers his face. Eddie Kingston comes out. He was going to talk in the mic, but he just threw it down, ran the ring, and him and Miro start brawling. Referees come out to break it up. So clearly Eddie's going to accept the challenge. Bunny got a jobber entrance. Bunny attacked Conti before the bell rang. 10:31, Bunny versus Tay Conti. Penelope Ford came out. Conti does a Tay KO. Ford distract Conti. Blade gave Bunny Nux and hit Conti and gets the pin. So Bunny beat Tay Conti. I guess there's a feud here. I guess Penelope Ford's joining the HFO, so there's a storyline playing out here. We'll see where it goes. It's a 5-minute match. We got an all-out card segment. We got a Will Hobbs versus Cage video segment. We have a Dynamite card segment. Darby Allin versus Garcia next Rampage. Mark Henry does his backstage main event interview that he does every Rampage, this time with Omega and Cage. Omega and Cutler come out first at 10:50. Omega and Cutler versus Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian started, and it went until I think 10:59 with Christian kill switching Cutler. What happened is Omega left Cutler alone, and Christian kill switched Cutler to get the win at 10:59. It was a good, decent Rampage. Match quality wise, maybe better than last week. I'm not too sure. Main event was good. The first match was good. Even the women's match was all right. Main event really should have been on Dynamite. I mean, that's my opinion. You could put Malachi Black and Brock Anderson on Rampage, put that main event on Dynamite. That would have been pretty good. Let's get into the worst match in the match. So, worst match of the night for WWE SummerSlam is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. So that was the worst match because it was just a short match. It was barely a match. Kind of a disappointment. It's pretty much why I got worst match of the night. I think these two can put on a phenomenal match, so it's just a booking. That's all it was. For AEW Dynamite, the worst match of the night is Gun Club versus Factory. It's really hard between that and the Hater versus Velvet match, but I think I enjoyed the Hater versus Velvet match more. I think some of the spots in that match were a little bit better. This Gun Club versus Factory match was like nothing, and then it just ended in a nothing. Easily worst match of the night. For AEW Rampage, Bunny versus Tay Conti. I mean, this one wasn't a terrible match. It's just, it's pinned between matches with great workers, like really great workers, like really, really great workers, and it was the weaker match on the card. So that's why I got worst match of the night. It was an alright match. It wasn't a terrible match. It wasn't a great match. It was an alright match, but worst match of the night. Anyways, now we have the match of the night, brought to you by eating ice cold ice cream on a hot summer night. It's always enjoyable. SummerSlam match of the night was Edge versus Seth Rollins. This was an amazing, phenomenal, awesome match. Very enjoyable match. So many awesome spots. Just a great match. AEW Dynamite, Lucha Bros versus Varsity Blondes. Really, like I said, a weaker Dynamite card. This was just the one really good match on that card. The week before had like 3 matches that could be match of the night. This one was kind of like the main one that was going to be match of the night. AEW Rampage, Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. Phenomenal match. Some people are calling it match of the year, but I thought it was a very enjoyable match. It sucks we didn't get picture-in-picture for this match. But it was a great match, and especially just for the 3-match Rampage card. Good match. I enjoyed it. So let's get into the news segment. A lot of news. So apparently, rumor has it Daniel Bryan's going to appear at All Out. Rumor was it was going to be Arthur Ashe Stadium, but now that COVID is playing a role, apparently Arthur Ashe is requiring vaccinated fans only for the tennis tournament. So there's a possibility they could do that for the AEW event. There's a possibility COVID could start, ramping up again and all these events get shut down. So apparently they're bringing Daniel Bryan out at All Out. I don't know where. I don't know when. Maybe he's going to come out after the main event title match. That'd be interesting. I would love to see that. Tenzin attacks Kenny Omega, gets a title match. Maybe they'll have the title match at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Adam Cole contract speculation. A lot of people are wondering where Adam Cole's going. It doesn't look like it's going to be WWE. Based off rumors, he would have already signed with WWE, so he's either taking a break, weighing out his options, or maybe he'll show up at AEW. If it is AEW, they are going to not really announce it. They're going to be secretive about it, like they're doing with Daniel Bryan's news, and he'll just kind of show up. Braun Strowman and Buddy Murphy are going to apparently go to Impact, so they're going to be at Impact Wrestling. That's a good fit for them. I know rumor had it Mark Henry wanted Braun to go to AEW, but most AEW fans wouldn't really care for Braun. But for being the character that Braun is, I think he'll do a lot of good for Impact. I could see him getting the strap at Impact and going far. Maybe we'll get some eyes on Impact. Maybe he's gonna, take like a Drew McIntyre route where he got cut from the WWE and then changed up with the Impact, became better, and then came back to WWE. He's already a Universal Champion. He already beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. He already kind of made it. Maybe we'll just do Impact for a while and go back to the WWE. CM Punk's new t-shirt outsold the Bullet Club t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees after just 72 hours. So the Bullet Club Wrestling t-shirt that's been on there for years and years and years, the number one selling t-shirt, got outsold in 72 hours by that CM Punk t-shirt. Absolutely crazy. Supposedly, Pro Wrestling Tees bought all the black ringer shirts in the country, and they still sold out, and now they have to print his t-shirt on just a white shirt. Black ringer is what makes that shirt great, not just a white shirt. So I would probably wait till if they could get more black ringer shirts. I really like white shirts. It's just easy to mess up. But wow, talk about making some money. Ooh. Day one pay-per-view announced in Atlanta. So WWE is going to have a January 1st pay-per-view in Atlanta. It's going to be called Day One. It's going to be a Saturday night pay-per-view. So I'm glad that SummerSlam was Saturday night. I like Saturday night pay-per-views. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be going forward. We're going to see probably more Saturday night pay-per-views from the WWE. And hopefully AEW goes back to Saturday night. I like these Sunday night pay-per-views. I like Saturday night pay-per-views. Orlando Studio is going to be the host for AEW Dark, supposedly going forward. They're going to set up a stage there at one of the studios and allow fans to attend, and they're going to do tapings for AEW Dark probably maybe once a month, I could assume, or I guess twice a month, maybe like one time, like back-to-back days, do it like a month of taping. But they're going to be going to the Orlando Studio. Rumor has it. Anyways, this is the podcast, the Consumer Review Weekly Wrestling Number 2. I'm Carl, the Consumer Review lad. And wow, if you consume this podcast, please go ahead and leave a review on the YouTube comments down below. And if you enjoyed the podcast, click the like button. If you didn't enjoy it, click subscribe. Maybe you'll enjoy a future podcast. Anyways, my name is Carl. I'm the Consumer Review lad. This has been the Consumer Review Weekly Wrestling Number 2 podcast. Peace out.